Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, in the studio on a Thursday morning. So, there have been a few games leaked so far for the NFL season that is going to be announced tonight. What do you think about that Germany game?
Well, that's interesting because that's not a leak. That was officially released by the NFL yesterday. But the rest of it, all these other rumors, isn't that what social media is all about? Have to know something ahead of time. What utter nonsense. Anyway, I've ranted for the day now.
No, you guys, he ranted a lot more than that before we turned the mics on. But we'll move on.
Anyway, it is the Chiefs playing the Miami Dolphins. They'll play in Frankfurt, Germany, and that will be on November the 5th. That's a pretty good little game. You have Tyreek Hill, of course, who will be back in the lineup again for Miami, I should say, and Kansas City Chiefs, reigning Super Bowl champs, of which Hill was a part of. Anyway, that's the personal matchup in this one. Miami's getting a whole lot better, or at least on paper they are. That'll be a good little ball game, and I believe it'll kick off at 8:30 our time, if I'm not mistaken. But that is one of them. Then, of course, there's the rumor that the Chiefs are going to play the Cincinnati Bengals on New Year's Eve up in Kansas City. Now, how that gets leaked, I'll never tell you, because the schedule's not being released until tonight. But oh no, we have to know ahead of time. Anyway, Chiefs and the Bengals apparently will play New Year's Eve. Still no idea who the Chiefs are going to open with, and they will open on a Thursday night, or at least that's what NBC wants. Now, that's not a rule. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's just kind of a tradition in a way to have the Super Bowl champs open on the first game of the season. But it might necessarily not be the case. We'll see what happens tonight.
It's going to be fun to watch, and again, tonight's when I get to really look at my the next 8 months of my life and say, okay, this is where I'm going to be on these certain weekends for the most part. But yeah, really looking forward to it. I just can't believe we're already back around and we're running in that direction, but not just yet. Not just yet. So, obviously we had the NFL draft, got some great players, picked up some guys in the offseason, but, the Chiefs are always looking for talent, and a former Missouri State Bears player had a workout with the organization.
Yeah, this was the rookie and free agent camp that the Chiefs had last weekend. It's a very brief get-together for the Chiefs to make an assessment as to some of the free agents they have and some of the rookies. Of course, all the rookies will go to the fall camp, which begins in late July, early August, somewhere around there. But there will be selected free agents, and one of them might, and I have to emphasize the might be here is a kid named Kyrique McDonald from Missouri State University. He's a Bears co-captain last year and an all-conference safety the last 2 years. Really good player. In the drills up in Kansas City, McDonald's reported to have had a number of touches on passes and batting the ball away and so forth. Does have really good speed. Came to the Bears from Cincinnati University, transferred over here, but he also transferred to Cincinnati from the Tide. Alabama. He had played for them for a couple of years. So this kid has some football pedigree about him. We'll see what happens. But indeed, the Chiefs do have an opportunity to take another look at some of these free agents and see whether or not it's worth the time.
Low risk, high reward. That's why we love this general manager, at least those of us in the kingdom. So which hockey teams are we loving right now that winning in the playoffs?
Well, there were two of them who won last night, and really they had to win. The Edmonton Oilers knocked off the Las Vegas Golden Knights, so Edmonton and Las Vegas are now tied in their series at 2 games apiece. And the Toronto Maple Leafs got a win. They have to win. They were down 3-0 going into the contest last night, won the match, so the series is now the Florida Panthers 3 and the Toronto Maple Leafs 1. It's pretty long odds there for the Toronto club, but we'll see what happens. More hockey coming up tonight.
And Cardinals continue to get well in Chicago.
It did not. The game ended in a thumping by the Cardinals. Chicago Cubs beat them by a score of 10-4. That ball was rocketing all over Wrigley Field last night. The weather's warmed up there. And unlike the opening game when it was in the 40s, now it's up in the upper 50s and 60s, and the ball's flying a little bit better, and the wind's blowing out. So the Cubs took advantage of that. Former Cardinal Patrick Wisdom had a big night last night, a couple of RBIs. Jordan Montgomery, the Cardinals starter, not a very good night at all. He got hit pretty regularly by the Cubs in the early going, made it through 4 innings, and Chicago wins it by a score of 10-4. So the Cardinals' record is now 13 wins and 25 losses. Take today off and head to Fenway Park in Boston for a 3-game series with the Boston Red Sox this weekend.
Exciting stuff. Hopefully they can continue to get well on the East Coast. All right, what about the Royals?
Royals took on a former Cardinal last night, Lance Lynn. He was pitching for the Chicago White Sox, and he didn't have a very good game. Gave up 4 runs in the first inning. Now, keep in mind, the Royals do have a pretty good offense. It's been slumbering here in the early going, but when they get effective, they can hit the ball, and they did last night. Royals go on to win the game by a score of 9-1. Chicago White Sox have been one of the major disappointments in Major League Baseball this year. Royals win 9-1, and they'll play again, weather permitting, this afternoon up at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. That's a 4-game series, and it will conclude today. Now, the Springfield Cardinals are down playing the Tulsa Drillers. Tulsa's pretty doggone good now. This is the Los Angeles Dodgers AA Farm Club, and the Tulsa Drillers beat the Cardinals last night by a score of 3-0. Springbird's record is 13 wins, 16 losses, and they will play. These are all 6-game series, Mike. They start on Tuesday and end on Sunday. It's to keep the teams, it's to reduce the traveling a little bit, but to keep the teams in one city for 6 days and kind of established a more relaxed level of playing, not necessarily about playing the game, but more relaxed as far as traveling is concerned. And what they've done for the second straight year, I like it.
I do too.
Give the individuals time to really rest up and get well. But hey, got to win the games.
Yeah, you got to win the games. But I agree. I like the way they've done this in the last few years. It's unfortunate that I haven't been doing as many games as I used to. Whenever it would be, 2 or 3 here, then 4 here, and 5 here, 10 here. 4, there would be runs of games that were just for weeks. But now, week on, week off, and that's not a bad thing. All right, what about the NBA playoffs?
NBA playoffs. You had the Miami Heat and you had the Los Angeles Lakers with opportunities to clinch their series, and they did not. The New York Knicks defeated the Miami Heat 112-103. Miami still leads that series 3-2, but the New York Knicks are still alive. And the Golden State Warriors, playing at home in San Francisco, pounded the Lakers 121-106. And that's only the Warriors' second win. Lakers still lead that series 3-2, and when they play again, it'll be in Los Angeles. And the pressure, just like it'll be on Philadelphia tonight, when your lower-seeded team is leading in the series 3-2 and they get that Game 6, you better win it, because to go on the road and play Game 7 is really tough.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know you kind of got a little bit of skin in this as a Philly guy. Just a little bit. And I have none, so I'll be rooting for your little bit of skin in this.
Sixers and the Celtics.
Let's go, baby. Ned, you have a great day.